Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of K-Pop Hot Takes. So today, as you see from the title, is going to be a video discussing my unpopular opinions on three main dancers. Before we even get anywhere, let's make one thing very clear. These are grown men who are probably used to some people not liking them as much as the other members, and they're okay with that. My little thoughts on them aren't gonna change they're not losing sleep over what little Micah says on his little channel, okay? So don't come on here being a shooter, doing the most, when really we're discussing people who are so elite in their skill, very gifted, very talented, that deserve all the credit in the world. And it's just nitpicking because we all don't like certain things, and that's okay to discuss that. I feel like the K-pop community has lost that a little bit. It's okay to discuss things that you might not enjoy something else, and it's not an insult to say that. It's not an insult to say, I don't like this as much as this. It doesn't take away from anyone's talent. So it's all good. And also, something that's really important is these are dancers I don't always connect with. So the key words that's carrying the weight in that sentence is always. Doesn't mean that I don't love them. Sometimes I do, which I will discuss because I'll show different comparisons, but sometimes it just doesn't connect. And more often than not, I might find myself not connecting to them, even though they are main dancers, which is likely to happen. But everyone has different tastes, and that's okay. And with this video, there's nothing to be discussed. This is my opinion. It's just how I feel. However, I would love to know what you think or who you don't connect with. And of course, keep it respectful, because I will. If you don't connect with Taeyong, I'm gonna obviously remove you, so you can't post anything on my channel anymore. No, I'm kidding. That's so valid. You can disconnect and connect with anyone. That's okay. So my criteria for dancers I don't always connect with, although it's not always exclusive, is a stylistic dancer who I feel really soars when they dance in a particular way, but they're not easily adaptable, or they don't surprise me, because when they dance very well in what they do well at, they then don't surprise me and do extremely well in something I never thought they would do. So in that sense, that's why I kind of see it as a limit. But then it's not really much of a limit because what they do well has gotten them in the highs of elite class of talented dancers. So it works. So it's just literally all about taste. It doesn't diminish anything of their skill or their talent or their craft or how hard they've worked at what they do. So the three I'm going to discuss today, the three main ones who I feel like I always discuss when dancing rankings are done or whatever, even when mine was done as well. Firstly, I have Kai, who I call, or who we should call, the classically trained dancer. Then we have J-Hope, the street hip-hop dancer. And then we have Taeyong, the dancer that was built. What I'll do, I'll showcase my favorites, clips from these dancers, so you can see what I love about them and where I might not always connect with them. Kai, I love this performance of the Eve. He just embodies, I know it's not like the most outlandish one to pick because he's got so many strong performances, but I think he embodies sensuality so well. He carries it effortlessly, and that's the thing, he shows it effortlessly on stage. Like, he's a force to be reckoned with. His stage presence and facial expressions are insane. His dance lines and his characterization when he's on stage, he's committed to the character, which reminds me of my other favorite performance of his, which is from the Super M dance performance showcase with him, Taemin, and Ten. Kai's was my favorite, and everyone knows on his channel Taemin is my number one, but I loved everything about how he moved in this. This is Kai in his element. When he's in his element, it's magic. The way he is expressive, emotive, the body lines, the dance lines, the quickness, the agility. He's like a cat. He's like an actual cat. Those performances are someone I just go, there's so much talent in this man. He's trained so hard and worked so hard to move like this. It's a blessing that he's in the industry, because he's also not a conventional dancer. He's not your typical pop looking hip hop, whatever. He is he's got that elegant, beautiful, graceful way of moving, which you don't really find, or you started to find more so, but I think he was one of the first to really be unconventional in that sense. Times for me when he didn't always stand out, this happened usually, I loved Kai before Super M came about, and I didn't even know about Taemin, or who was it? I didn't know about Taemin at all. But when Super M came out, I knew about everyone else. I knew all the other members besides Taemin, literally. So he's the one I had lowest expectations for. So when I saw Kai, I feel like the choreo for me just didn't accommodate him and his skill set the most, and it felt like he doesn't get to showcase his strengths in Super M. In particular, when the super car choreo, I think you can see that it's not grooving. I think if he was by himself on stage, or if it was with two others on stage dancing to this choreo, he wouldn't shine the way he would. And considering his dance skill, it didn't give him. I just didn't connect. I started to not connect with him, because once you see your favorite artist not do something as well as they used to, it kind of bursts the bubble, and you kind of go, oh, so you're human. So it kind of humanizes them. But I think with this choreo, it's a bit like, oh, okay, oh. And from then on, especially with other Super M choreos, I started to see a few more like cracks here and there. Also, Fujimi, I forgot to mention that I do think Kai's rigid ballet training, classical training, has sort of given him some limitations when it comes to doing more groovy types of choreo, which I think other dancers would sought at more so. And I guess it begs the question of a blessing of a curse of being trained and having that rigid technique as opposed to a self-taught dancer. And also, I'd like to add with Kai as well, for a lot of classically trained dancers or people who love K-pop, they would probably disagree with me strongly, because they appreciate the nuances to his training. But I am a regular viewer, just like many of you probably are. I feel like regular viewers probably make up 80% of any audience of anything. And to an extent, also, our thoughts are valid because it's what you enjoy. We all just get to consume something, form an opinion, and whether you like it or not, whether something is formal or not, you still get to like it or dislike it. So J-Hope is easily, it's been discussed many times, he's the most technical and impressive dancer in BTS. And he absolutely owns the stage, especially when I think of the Mama performance when they did Fire. That was the first time I really was like, whoa, when he gets up and he like points at the camera and he's like, he's in his element. Oh, like when he's ready to go off, he goes off. And sadly, what I'm aware of, I feel like he hasn't gotten the chance to really showcase and be the center in BTS. I don't know what Big Hit was thinking, hype labels, but they've really underutilized J-Hope, and he hasn't had the chance to really soar, because for me, he's actually still my favorite all-rounder in BTS. So when it comes to live, when it comes to singing, rapping as well, general performance style, he's the strongest for me. But when it comes to just dancing, Jimin will catch my eye more often than not. With J-Hope, he really shines when he does the street hip-hop styles. However, the times when I don't connect with, and because BTS can do quite a lot of expressive, more contemporary choreos, I do lose him in the mix. Like in Fake Love, for example, I find that my eyes probably gravitate to Jungkook and Jimin more so. But obviously, no one can do it all because they might not also be as strong as J-Hope. But overall, the things that connect with, and my first BTS song I discovered was Boy With Love. The first K-pop song I really noticed was Boy With Love on SNL, and I couldn't take my eyes off of Jimin. I was thinking, who's that, So it's interesting how skills and talent, and someone else will probably feel something completely different. But with J-Hope, I think he does feel more niche and specific to me, which is weird because I know he's versatile, but he also has a kind of like a looseness to his movements. It's the hip hop. It's almost like he's gonna break his bones kind of way of moving, which I think makes him very unique in that sense. But for me, it's not something I always connect with. Also, I forgot to add that with J-Hope as well, it does feel like his He's very happy on stage, very expressive, and it can come off as corny sometimes for me. Speaking of awkward shapes, so number 3, Taeyong. He's so special. I can't even lie to you. He's a special dancer. I love him so much as an idol, so it's a bit hard for me to not love or not always connect to his dancing. But I love him. Like, I love him as an idol. Like, I think he's cute, he's funny, he's caring, he's a great leader. But when it comes to his dancing, Taeyong is 1 in a billion. When he stands, you know it's Taeyong. Like, he's just that. And he embodies it. My favorite choreo from him, Paris in the Rain freestyle from last year. I had that on my Insta, posted about it, made a video about it. I made a video about Taeyong. He embodied it, he embodied the energy, the feel of it. I felt like I was in Paris in summer. I felt like I was there. And he's got the character and he's inviting, his charisma, his eyes are beautiful. Everything about how he moves, it's just so great to watch. You know, he's got this thing where he kind of seems like he's double jointed. I think he does have some joints that like overextend, or he's quite uniquely built as well. Which for me, this is where the battle begins, because I think his greats limit him for me. Because then, if you're always signature, you can never come out of it, even when it's demanded of you. And notice the issue with 2 of these people on my list, they're both Super M. And I noticed that because obviously with Super M, they had to move from their comfort zone. Everyone had to move from their comfort zones to do a completely new thing. And I feel like the other members, Lucas, I think has done very well in Super M. I think his dancing has gotten better, even though he was originally in Wavy and NCT, etc. But with Taeyong, because he's such a strong dancer, and probably kind of like, he's the energy of NCT. He carries the energy, and it's hard to adapt that in a new environment. And I've seen limits in how he then moves, because when he moves to Tiger Inside, for example, towards the end, I feel like I want him to be sharper and more rigid, but he still has this kind of like, almost like zombie feeling to how he moves, which works so well in NCT and feels very NCT in brand. But then when it's another group, I'm like, I want you to be like I want to feel like you have bones, and I feel like he can't turn it off. He always has that quality to him. Even like when he did a cover of Taemin's Criminal, and when he's standing and his back looks like the curve, I'm like, ooh, it feels like I want him. I'm like, are you sure you're dancing in a healthy way? He's used to it, his body's used to it, but I want him to try and shake it up a little bit, because he has certain postures and certain mannerisms when he moves that I think he can't shake. They're in him, so that's why I don't always connect with him. And I guess that's why also all the 3 main dancers, as impressive as they are for me, I'm rarely shocked or invited by them on stage, because they're so good at what they do. They just show you their skills, but they don't invite me. But those are my thoughts. I'm curious to think who you all don't connect with. And there's definitely some honorary mentions as well of other dancers who I adore, but for some reason I just don't watch them. Because, you know, you can love something, you can love someone's talent, but you don't regularly digest it, which is another thing. So it doesn't mean that you don't think they're better than your favorite, but for some reason you just don't connect. It just doesn't connect. I would love to know who you all don't connect with and what are your reasonings. I'll be intrigued to see that, to see what everyone's thoughts are, because it's an interesting thing. I hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you don't take it personally. These millionaires are going to be just fine. I'm not a millionaire yet, so it's all good. Thanks for watching, everyone, and I'll see you very soon. Bye.